He is a 6th degree belt holder in the sport of karate. And has been many years, again, contributing to the Arnold weekend in every possible way. And this is one great addition to our weekend. Bob, we thank you, Arnold and I, for your great support and your founding and leadership of the International Sports Hall of Fame. Okay?
Thank you, Jim. And we have a few extra seats in the front here, so some of you in the back so you can see better, because we know we have a ton of media in between you, so some of you people come in and take some of the row in the back there. We only need the first 2 rows a little bit empty. So please feel free to move forward. We'd like to thank you for showing up. We have people who have come from all over the world. As you know, the Arnold Sports Festival is the largest sports festival in the world. It is truly a remarkable weekend. For me, it's the most important weekend of my life for the year, to get to see all of our friends, our colleagues, people we've grown up with, our mentors, people we have idolized, people who have taught us so much and inspired us so strongly. The International Sports Hall of Fame was founded in order to honor these great athletes. It's a nonprofit. You notice you don't see any commercial aspect whatsoever. Today is all about these amazing people, only about them. There's nothing commercial associated. It's completely funded separately by myself. And we do this because these are the leaders who really inspire the children and the other sports people around the world by their actions as an athlete. But the other component of becoming a member of the International Sports Hall of Fame is that you also have to give back to society. That's what's so critical, and that's what these people have done, not only by their actions as amazing athletes and world champions and groundbreaking sports people, but the other part of what they've been able to do is they also lead the young people by being great mentors, examples, charitable work, and so on. So out of the hundreds of athletes that we look at every year, we only pick 5 to 6 athletes every year. So you could be the greatest NBA, NFL ball player in the world. We're only going to pick one NFL guy once every 2-3 years. As a bodybuilder, once every 2 or 3 years. So there are very few people that actually have this honor of being inducted. We went through a lot of care in order to put this together. As you can see, these are the 2.5-pound, 18-karat gold medallions that were all done by hand. We created these so that it shows the Olympic ideals, as well as all 6 continents. And I think these are the largest ones that you guys can see. It could be Olympic too. And we also upgraded it. Now we have these custom-made rosewood cases with brass locks. Look real pretty on your desk, guys. In addition, each of the inductees will also receive some other items. What we did is, we know that you can't walk around and carry that with you, so we had these custom made up for your desk. So we had these heavy set medallions, also done by hand, 18-karat gold, to your desk to make sure no one steals them. And finally, and since it's such a great dress crowd, we have gold cufflinks for you, and medallions and a gold pin, so you're all good to go. Now, I'd like to thank the global, you can't do this alone, and we have a remarkable global advisory board that without this, I could not pull this thing off. And these guys really dedicate their time and efforts, connections with athletes, not only in the sports world, but in the Hollywood world, in order to enhance the combination of people that we have. We have a few global advisory board members here today I'd like to recognize. Dr. Nick DeNubili, who's the NBA team doc for the 76ers. Mark Henry, who is in the class of 2012, one of the world's strongest men. Mark, if you can stand up. Randy Couture, UFC world champion. Thank you, Randy. Also, class of 212. Dan O'Malley, a professional boxer and wrestler, is head of my security. He's about 6'6". So Dan's in the back. Dr. Terry Todd and Dr. Jan Todd, both world champion weightlifters. They're taking care of the strongmen. And they also started the Stark Center Museum. All of the things that we do here are archived permanently in perpetuity at the Stark Center Museum at University of Texas, Austin. It's the largest physical culture museum in the world. Like myself and Mark Henry were there. We had a 280-pound dumbbell that I curled like 10 times. You couldn't pick it up, is it? Actually, he picked it up, and I couldn't even get my hands around it. Dr. Rafael Santoka, who is the IFBB president, Jim Mannion, who's NPC president, as well as IFBB Pro League president. Master Alan Goldberg, who runs one of the largest martial arts events in the world. Dr. Tom Rosandich, who's in our 217, Dr. Tom, and I'm going to introduce him a little bit later. Rob Fletcher, America's Next Great Trainer and Arnold Sports Festival TV. Jim Lorimer, who was in our first class of 212, here for Jim. And they just developed this suite here, the Lorimer Suite here at the Exposition Center, and I can't hardly wait to see it. It's supposed to be really remarkable. Arnold Schwarzenegger will be here shortly, who is also a 212 inductee into the International Sports Hall of Fame. And finally, my senior global advisor is Fairfax Hackley, who has dedicated a tremendous amount of time. We speak almost every day trying to make this happen. And Fairfax, thank you so much for your great work. We're ready to get started and give these guys their hardware. And again, we really thank you guys for coming out. We know your schedules are so busy, and there are so many different people want to make awards to you, but this is a little different because today is 100% about you, and if you just look at the field here, you have a world champion skater, world's strongest man, educator, professor who's graduated thousands of trainers, one of the greatest bodybuilders, movie star in history, and Herschel Walker, the greatest college football player in history, a Heisman Trophy winner. So look at this amazing combination of people you have here. You don't see this in other sports Hall of Fames. These are all world-class people, but not just for what they've done in sport. Also, what they have done in their life post-sport career. All of these people give back. All of these people are always trying to help others. That's when you come over, hey, can I have a picture with you? They are there to mentor these kids because just those few seconds that you guys give to those kids changes their lives because they could be the next Herschel or Lou or Bill or Apollo. And you guys are not only my idol and the idol of all the people here, but you guys are an example of what it means to be a champion. So we want to thank you. Let's give these guys a big round of applause. Our first inductee, Apollo Ohno. Really, I've gotten to know Apollo over the last few years. Really a truly remarkable individual in so many areas. Bright, skilled as an athlete, skilled in business, skilled in the world, and always giving back to society. He was the American short track speed skating competitor, 8-time medalist in the Olympics, 8 medals. At age 14, he became the youngest national champion and then went on to be reigning champion from 2001 to 2009 with a total of 12 championships. He also became the first to win the World Cup event title, the American Cup, and he won it again in 2001, 2003, and 2005, and then won his first overall world championship in 2008. He has so many accolades in the area of sport, was chosen as the Speed Skating Athlete of the Year, as Athlete of the Month through the Olympic groups. He was a finalist for multiple times for the Sullivan Award, and most importantly to the women out there, he won Dancing with the Stars in 2007. So let's give it up for Apollo. Now we do is we make them wear it for the whole session. So I'm going to take this off. You can feel the weight of this now. Oh, that's pretty serious.
Thank you, Bob. This is a complete honor for me. I had the pleasure of coming here last year and seeing several fellow athletes. And like these guys, I grew up watching many of them throughout film, throughout training. Sport is so special. Thank you, Bob, for everything you do for this organization and so many others. Thank you to Arnold, who obviously has been the real pillar behind kind of sports and fitness all across the world, and his contributions back to society, his ability to transform beyond just bodybuilding into so many different areas, into politics, into life, for me was incredibly inspiring, and one I think we've all grown up looking and watching. Two champions here, Ronnie and Jay, watching guys from all different types of walks of life, and for me to be inducted into such a great group and class of individuals who've excelled at such a high level in sport is humbling, and I'm incredibly blessed to have a great long career and kind of still walking with no really bad injuries. So, I think I just wanted to speak a little. They only give me a couple minutes, but I think the reason why I love sports so much is really because of the lessons that it teaches us all, right? Regardless of skill set, regardless of people reaching Olympic status or world champion status or even world's strongest man. Unfortunately, there's only sometimes a podium for three people, gold, silver, and bronze. And for many sports, even like Randy, it's either you win or you lose, right? There's no silver medal for MMA. I was lucky enough to win many medals in my career, but it was really the lessons that I learned throughout that process, the discipline, the hard work, the understanding of oneself, the ability to transcend beyond what you've previously physically thought that you could do. And it's these types of, I think, lessons that we bring with us and we hope to pass on to the younger generation, the next generation, the Instagram generation, the Snapchat generation, the Facebook generation, those who live in a different world than perhaps we grew up in. And it's still those fundamental values, I think, that we hold near and dear to our hearts, which is hard work, which is dedication, which is sacrifice, which is giving back to the community and living a life of true fulfillment. Regardless of the wealth that one creates, if you've not lived a incredibly fulfilled life, you're still a very, very poor man. And, luckily for me, my father was a huge pillar in my life to always push me and to seek something beyond just what I thought was incredible within sport. And I encourage everyone to always do the same. So, again, we live in an era where the world is changing. I think we here in this country are at a time in which we need to come together more than any other time in the history of our country. And sport is one of those very special things that we can always cheer for one team. And whether that's Team USA or whatever you are doing, sport has a unification period. And throughout the resonation and the ability to resonate the types of energy, like last night, the After School All-Stars program, and seeing that, Arnold and other people who have the ability to transcend beyond just sport and make significant positive impacts in our communities makes me feel like no matter what hardships I'm going through, no matter what challenges that I'm facing, sport is still and has the ability to transcend beyond all of these challenges. So Fairfax, thank you so much. I know that you were one of the pioneers to kind of help bring this through and invite me to something of a great organization like this. Bob, we've spent many, many times having great conversations, and to all of these incredible champions who I've grown up looking and watching before I ever saw an Olympic race, before I ever decided to become an Olympic athlete. It was your stories that propelled me and your ability to transcend beyond that TV screen, which really inspired me to go and try to do something great within my own specific career. So thank all of you for coming. Thank you very much for this medal. I hold it near and dear, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. Thank you. Did Arnold get in the back there yet? Is Arnold here yet? Nope. Oh, not yet. Okay. All right. Our next inductee, Bill Kazmaier. When the first time I saw Bill, I thought I was seeing a mountain. Bill, one of the strongest men in the world, and by some people's measure, well, Mark Henry and Bill, two strongest men in the world, are in this room today. During the 1970s and 1980s, he set numerous powerlifting and strongman world records and won numerous world strongman titles. Just a remarkable all-around athlete, because not only as a world champion powerlifter, world champion strongman, and professional wrestler, this guy is out there preaching to young kids and educating them on healthy lifestyle and how to stay motivated and improve their lives. In fact, when we met the other day, he said he just finished doing 27 seminars for young people. If we could have it quiet in the back there, otherwise you guys will have to split, okay? Can we have quiet back there? Have respect for the winners here. He's one of the all-time greatest competitors in the strength games. He's the first human to bench press over 660 pounds. And in the powerlifting meet, his total was over 1,100 kilograms, 2,445 pounds. Enormous amount of weight. He also had the deadlift record, 886 pounds. And then he went on to the strongman competitions. In fact, at the museum, at the Stark Center Museum in University of Texas Austin, is this huge picture of Bill in his kilt throwing another huge item, and me and Mark were there, took a picture in front of it. We both looked a little small next to the picture, but I think it was a little larger than life. In addition, he won the World's Strongest Man contest and dominated the strongman competitions in 1981, 1980, 1981, and 1982 by a very, very large margin. So what we're looking at here is one of the world's strongest men in history. And that's a really kind of unique title to say, you know what, I'm the strongest person that was ever born on this planet. Bill Kazmaier.
Yes.
Now I know, like Mark Henry, no trouble putting this around your neck. No. That's the second biggest champion behind
you. Where are my notes? I lost my notes. What am I going to do? Well, what an incredible honor and an afternoon for me. Of course, with a big show coming up this afternoon and this evening, my mind could quite possibly be somewhere else, thinking about Brian Shaw and Hafthor Bjornsson and a few of the other athletes, along with what they're going to do on that stage with Mark Henry and I in just a few minutes. They said we'd get there by 1:45, so I'm going to keep this really short. And thank you so much. I congratulate all the other inductees. Such a tough act to follow as far as an acceptance speech. I'd simply like to say that I had a lot of motivation through my life also, by support and family, except when your father was so encouraging, my father told me that I would be horseshit and nothing else but. So I was able to overcome that, the negative reinforcement. I've had a few heroes in my life that have really influenced me. Lately, he's sitting in the front row on the far left, Ronnie Coleman. Because I feel like pretty remarkable man. So many times when I met him in his career, when he was at his peak, I had to gasp. He was that big. But the measure of a man is how you react on a bad day. And many of us will fall and look for pity, maybe not get back up, maybe have people walk all over us. But a true champion will pop back up and overcome. So many times in my career, take for instance 81 in World's Strongest Man when I bent a steel bar and tore my pectoral, deltoid, and bicep off. I lift parts of my body on the field of battle. My doctor said, we got to go to the hospital. I said, I can't go yet. I got 4 events, and my title, my trophy, and my check is still here, and I'm not leaving until I take it. Out of those 4 events, I took 2 firsts, a second, a third, and a fourth. Many, many times in the World's Strongest Man, I tore both hamstrings. Once with an 870-pound squat, I wrapped it and went 950 and tore the other one. Okay, after squatting, I had to deadlift. We know what muscles, Eddie Cohen, greatest power lifter ever, front row, former inductee, we know what muscles are used in deadlift. I couldn't bend my legs. The first lift was 700 pounds. I went then 700, 800, 900, 925, 50, 75, 1,000, 1,025, 1,050 with 2 torn hamstrings to become the strongest man in the world. Again, the measure of a man is how do you react on a bad day. One of my friends is here, and I really have to have a shout out to Tom Hanrath. When we were 10 years old, I haven't seen him in 53 years. I just saw him yesterday, and he's here in the 3rd row. Tom, when you jumped out of perfectly good airplanes into the water and then swam a mile underwater and did your missions and all that all over the world, you really inspired me as I was growing up. As I was doing my strongman stuff, you were out fighting wars and protecting us and keeping us free. You're now 110 pounds, I'm 330 pounds. The measure of a man is not the size of his body, it's the size of his heart. And Tom Hanrath, thank you for all you did, not only in the military and keeping us all safe, but also what you did after, which was saving lives, working in the military, and now helping all the veterans with what they're doing as they've come back. I've got to... Thank you. Now, Fairfax told me I had 35 minutes. I believe, was it 3 to 5? Yeah. Well, then, one other hero before I thank the people in my history that really have helped me a lot. Stevie. We're going to see Stevie compete tomorrow. I met him in England about a month ago. What a remarkable guy. Flipping tires, doing a log press, all the strongman events, really has overcome adversity. Stevie, fantastic guy. With his prosthetics, he stands about this tall. Without them, he stands about this tall. One of the toughest guys I ever met, lost both legs over in England in some fighting, lost many of his fingers. The measure of a man is how do you react on a bad day. The 3 guys in my life that have really influenced me the most, when I go way back, it's going to have been the great Carlisle Indian, Jim Thorpe, Native American, excuse me. He won the pentathlon, the decathlon, and was a football player and a baseball player. He really motivated me to do the things that I did as I grew up to become a decathlete of strength. Herschel, you would know Dick Kazmaier, 1951, Princeton University. He overcame adversity in that he was rather small. He didn't quite know what to do against most of the other teams in the Ivy League, so he scrambled all over as a halfback. He threw the ball, which was unusual, and then he did a quick kick. And for that, they gave him the wonderful bronze trophy. Last but not least is guys who have really motivated me. The guy that gave me many pearls of knowledge in my life. As I try to go into schools and talk to kids and give them these pearls of knowledge, I got many of mine from a guy who stood on stage with Arnold and Lou and Franco and Frank, and at 53 years old, he looked magnificent. He looked like a mountain of a man, extremely muscular. At 53, Bill Pearl. He gave me the keys to the inner universe that helped me in the physical culture, and I try to share it with others wherever I go, in every community. So thank you so much for this award. Congratulations to our other inductees. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Fairfax.
Let's give it up for Governor Schwarzenegger, who's in the house. Thank you. Well, you know, now we're ready to really get this ceremony started. I was waiting for you, Governor, so I can introduce our former champions who are in the audience here. We have some great, there's so many champions in this room, but I just want to go through a few people in the front row. Ronnie Coleman, last year's inductee. Thank you, Ronnie. We have Mr. Olympia, multi-Miss Olympia, Jay Cutler. We got Ralph Mueller, who in 1986, we were doing the dope control for the Mr. Universe, and we come in and there are like 30 Japanese in white coats, and Ralph walks in, they drop all their test tubes and jump on him for a picture. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's amazing. Ralph Mueller. Ed Cohen, 70 world powerlifting record. Stand up, Eddie. Also inductee into the International Sports Hall of Fame. Franco Colombo, inductee into the International Sports Hall of Fame. Mr. Olympia. Grandmaster Kwok has come in from Europe. Grandmaster Kwok, stand up, please. He studied under Ip Man. Cynthia Rothrock, inductee into the International Sports Hall of Fame. Chuck Zito, my personal bodyguard. Don't get him mad. Master Alan Goldberg, largest sports event in the world. Master Stephen Hayes, Grandmaster Stephen Hayes, Ninja Time. Got Randy Couture, UFC World Champion, inductee in 212. And my little younger brother, Mark Henry, World's Strongest Man like Bill. Okay, we're ready to go to the next inductee. Now, Dr. Tom Rosandich, I've known since I was a kid. He was a mentor of mine, along with Ben Weider and Arnold, Jack LaLanne. He started the world's largest and finest university in sports education 43 years ago. And they're the #1 university in the world in terms of sports medicine. He also was a coach and trained and educated and mentored a number of great world champions, one of them being Bob Mathias, who was an Olympic champion and world record holder. What's really remarkable about Tom is that he founded things that have grown into what are considered now real institutions. And not only did he do this in the education arena, but Tom also did this in the area of art and sport art. Starting out with just a few pieces of sport art, the U.S. Sports Academy now has the largest sport art collection in the world, valued at over $12 million, over 1,900 pieces that he's put together. The campus is remarkable because everywhere you look, there's sports art, and there are students from over 60 countries. So in 1972, this man started an institution that has changed thousands and thousands of sports leaders' lives. And then after that, these sports leaders went out and changed so many other lives. Let's give it up for Dr. Thomas Rosandich. You can do it.
Thank you, Bob. Arnold, it's good to see you again. Ladies and gentlemen, honorees, distinguished guests, I'm delighted to be here as a sport educator. When I founded the Academy, we were sort of one of a kind. It is still the only freestanding accredited school of sport in this country. Since that time, there are now more than 800 colleges and universities that do what we do, and probably better in many ways. Two great ones in this state alone: Ohio University, which is an outstanding program at the master's level, and Ohio State University just added coaching a couple of weeks ago to their curriculum. So the basis of what we initially did has grown throughout the country, and that is very, very important. We remain as the largest graduate school of sport probably in the world, and that's at the doctoral level, at the master's level. And it's people like Bob here that have helped us, many, many people have played a role in doing what we do. Much of this happened when I served as a national coach of Indonesia in track and field. I have two daughters out there born in that country, and I actually have two sons that are here for this event along with other family members. It's a very special day, a very special award, and I'm most appreciative. We, by the way, have an Academy Awards of Sport. It's called the Artist and the Athlete, hence a very large art collection. But one of our best honorees was Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know you know a lot about this very talented man, I would rather suspect many of you do not know that he was appointed by the President of the United States as the Executive Director of the President's Council on Physical Fitness, and made a commitment to teach young people in every state in the Union. I saw him travel to and watched him like the Pied Piper bringing out the children in fitness. He was the very, very best as the executive director of this very important organization founded by President Eisenhower in the mid-1950s. And he has now gone on to build the largest sport festival in the country, and I'm simply not surprised by that. Again, I'm honored to be here. I thank you all for this award, and I congratulate you once again, thank you. Arnold. Thank you very much, Bob.
Thank you, Dr. Rosandich. The next inductee is somebody I know since I was a kid, because we're both from Brooklyn. Lou Ferrigno. Louis has got so many talents in so many different areas. I mean, we all knew him as the Hulk or a bodybuilder, but Louis is in so many diverse areas. In Hollywood as an actor, he was even involved with the police as honorary policeman. He won the IFBB Mr. America title, 2 consecutive IFBB Mr. Universe titles, top placings at the Olympia, and he was with Arnold in the movie Pumping Iron, which really introduced the whole world to bodybuilding. I mean, that was really what you guys did back then was with Butler was so landmark. I mean, it changed the whole landscape. I remember watching it as a kid. It was like, wow, I want to be like these guys. But I knew you from Brooklyn, but I said, I'm never going to be like Lou. And forget it, nobody could ever be like Arnold because there's only one Arnold. So it was so many groundworking things. Louis even went out to play. He was playing some heavy league Canadian football as well in between there. He even competed in the world's strongest man competition in '77 with a high placing. But the thing that really set him apart and what really gave him this world recognition is everybody, you say Louis Ferrigno, they go the Hulk. And even though there have been other Hulks after, there's really one real Hulk in our mind, and that's Lou Ferrigno. Let's give Louis a big round of applause for doing that. Because not only the Hulk, he went on to a whole series of TV shows and movies and so many other areas in the Hollywood arena. And Lou, this is the best I've seen you look in years. You look great, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations, really.
I'll pay you later.
Okay. Okay, Lou, come on up. Here from Lou Ferrigno.
Should we pose? Don't mess with my tie.
No, I don't know.
How are you, everyone? Thank you all for coming. I'm happy to be here because I just finished an action film in San Francisco. I'm glad to be able to attend this great sports festival. The first person I want to thank is Fairfax Hackley, and I hope he smiled. Thank God. And Bob Goldman for thinking of me, nominating me, bringing me here. Thank you very much. You know, my hearing maybe not be as perfect as yours, but in my life, I've learned to maximize what I've done in my life, my personal power, because as a kid, many years ago, I had to overcome adversity. Boy, 60-some years ago, this little kid couldn't speak, hard of hearing, and had a severe speech impediment. And you know what saved my life? Bodybuilding. When I was a kid, I was so obsessed with power, I used to read comic books like The Incredible Hulk, Superman, Spider-Man. But you know, children do not have the psychological defense to defend themselves. So I was ridiculed as a kid. They used to call me names like Deaf Lou, Deaf Mute. So I would think about trying to be strong and powerful because I had a love and hate relationship with my father. So I'll never forget one time I used to trade a lot of comic books. So my dad took me to a comic book store, and I see this magazine, and there's a guy in the cover, Dave Draper, doing a chest pose. And I'm saying to myself, my God, this is Mr. Universe, because at the time I used to watch TV, I used to watch Miss Universe, Miss America, but I never thought there'd be a competition like Mr. Universe. I took the magazine home, I read it from page to page, I probably took all the print off. I learned everything I can about bodybuilding. So as a kid, being very poor, I couldn't buy barbells. So what I've done, I used to take cement pails. I went to a junkyard. I had 6 cement pails, and I would fill maybe 1/3, halfway, and full, and stick a broomstick. I made my own barbell. I'll never forget when I first lifted it, I said to myself, this feels so good. I like this so much. Because back then, people were saying, Lou's lifting weights. All he's done is think about barbells and dumbbells. What about his education? He's never going to make a living. But that's all he talks about. So I realized that this is my passion. Like every one of you have a passion. Embrace it. If I didn't embrace this passion, I wouldn't be what I am today because of all the negativity. Look where it's taken me. 50-some years ago, like being here, it's like being home. I'm here with all my great friends, my peers, all the champions. It couldn't be a better day. So fast forward many years later, and I got to the point that all my dreams came true because bodybuilding taught me the discipline, the determination to be successful. And I just kept competing, kept winning competition. And eventually got to the point that I'd done movies, I'd done television. I came back to competition in 1992 to compete after a 17-year layoff because after pumping iron, I felt to me it was like unfinished business because I only trained like 10 weeks for the competition. And I remember competing again at the age of 42. I got my body weight up to 330, and I just wanted to place higher in the competition because I loved competing with myself. And I was able to place higher, come second in the matches Olympia because to me it was not about the winning. It was about the satisfaction of me getting out to win. But in life, I have to tell you, my greatest achievement is being married for 37 years to a beautiful woman, having 3 great kids. That's the best achievement I've ever done. So, in life, I wanted to give back. So 10 years ago, I went through the Sheriff's Academy. I became a certified deputy sheriff. Of course, my father was the lieutenant. That might be the only thing he would be proud of me doing today. So doing all that, giving back, I still have this passion. I just love bodybuilding. So one day, my son came to me. He said, with a friend of his named Chris Minute, he said, why not have a competition called the Ferrigno Legacy? I said, okay, I can't run the competition myself. So we united and we formed the called the Ferrigno Legacy. We have now the best and the biggest show on the West Coast. This year we're taking over the Palm Springs Convention Center and we're going to have 300 to 400 booths. And I have a lot of support and respect for, the Art of Sports Festival because they get to support each other. And to me, that's my passion now. I was thinking of something before I leave the stage. I have a funny story to tell you. A long time ago, we talk about determination. I was 21. I was training for the Mr. Universe competition. I needed to get a suntan. And at that time, I was driving a green Volkswagen. People thought I took the front seat out, sat in the back seat. I'm like 280 pounds. So I'm driving down to the beach. It's like Sheephead Bay. I'm driving around. I can't find a parking spot. And I'm looking at the watch. It's like 12, 1 o'clock. I need to get a suntan. I'm driving around. I see a small car, like a Datsun B210. So I'm looking around. Nobody's around. So I park my car. I go in front of this car. I lift like a foot in the air towards the middle of the street. And then I left the back of the car to eventually the car was in the middle of the street. And then I took my Volkswagen and just pushed it right in the spot. And then I see some guy, a rabbi with hair, down his cheek, coming screaming out of the top of his lungs, screaming, foam coming out of his mouth. Then I see a police car coming around. And I'm saying to myself, I'm screwed. So the cop gets out of the car. He sees me and these little rabbis screaming at me. And the guy ended up getting a ticket for double parking. He got a second ticket for assaulting a police officer, and the third one for disturbing the peace. Guess what? I got my suntan. Every one of you, embrace your passion. I don't care what it is. Love yourself, respect yourself, help each other, just be nice, and thank you so much for coming and myself being here. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lou. And really, this is what it's all about, and this is what's so important. You see, each of these world champion, world-class people have stories to tell about the people they mentored, rabbis that they disoriented, but all of these people have amazing life journeys that have changed the lives of so many others. So again, this giving back and this mentoring is so very, very important. I was so excited when Herschel Walker was able to fit this into his schedule. I remember the Sports Illustrated story with you, Herschel, when it talked about you just doing calisthenics, because a bunch of my world records were in calisthenics. And I go, wow. And I'm going to get to meet the man finally, because this is and Terry Todd with our Strongman group, he wrote the article, the cover story of Sports Illustrated on Herschel. And it was a remarkable story on a truly, truly remarkable athlete. This is somebody who's not only one of the greatest football players in history, but he's an Olympic bobsledder, a splinter, an undefeated mixed martial artist. I mean, this guy does it all. I mean, and he's still in a phenomenal, phenomenal shape. He won the consensus for All-American honors 3 times and was a 1982 Heisman Trophy winner. He played pro football in the NFL for the Dallas Cowboys, Minnesota Vikings, Philadelphia Eagles, New York Giants, and even with the United States Football League, the New Jersey Generals. As a running back, he was the most sought-after high school football player in the nation. So many records this guy has in football. In professional football, he had the single-season rushing with 2,411 yards in 1985. His combined rushing numbers for the United States Football League and the NFL, 13,787 yards, would place him 5th all-time on the NFL rushing list. But wait a second, that's nothing. He continued all-purpose yards for both leagues. 25,283 yards would place him as the first all-time on the NFL list, #1 as a rusher. In 12 seasons, he gained 8,225 rushing yards, 4,859 receiving yards, on and on. He's one of the only players that has broken so many of these records in so many areas. It's really, truly remarkable. And then on top of it, each of the different networks and groups rate him as the best college football player in history, one of the greatest ball players in history. And not only that, again, remember, this guy was on the Olympic bobsledding team. He was a sprinter and a mixed martial artist and retired undefeated in that area. So how many people could say that they were such a world champion in so many different areas? Herschel Walker.
Thank you. First of all, I always acknowledge my Lord Jesus Christ, because he said if you don't acknowledge him, he's not going to acknowledge you. And when I come knocking on him to let me in. You know, I always tell everyone know my glory. Everyone know my glory, but they don't know my story. Because, you know, starting out as this poor black kid in South Georgia, in Wrightsville, Georgia, I tell everyone it's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there. And I always tell everyone the story about the man that had these 2 little twin boys. One little boy is always positive in life. No matter what he did in life, he was positive about it. But this other little kid was always negative. No matter whatever's going on in his kid's life, he was negative about everything. And the father don't know what's going on with these kids because they're twins, but they're so opposite. So around Christmas time, he tried this little experiment. He put this negative little kid in his room and nothing but brand new toys. But he put this positive kid in this room, nothing but horse manure. And after an hour or so, he looked in on this negative kid, and he was complaining, I don't want this, I want that. I don't like this, I like this. And the father knew that this kid is never going to amount to anything because nothing ever makes him happy. But he looks in on the kid that's in the room with the horse manure, and he's got a shovel. He's shoving this horse manure over his shoulder. He's laughing and singing and having a good time. First thing the father thinking, this kid is crazy. But he asked him, said, son, what's going on? What's going on? The little boy looked at his dad and said, you know, Dad, as much horse manure as is in this room, there must be a pony at the bottom of it. And the reason I tell you all that, in life, guys, we all have a pony. But sometimes we worry about the crap around us. But I'm living proof, and I think the people up on this stage is living proof that if you grab a shovel every day, you can find your pony. And I'm so happy that I heard from a great man that when you take something out of a society, put something back in. So there's always time that we reach back. Whether you have a kid or you know a kid, to hug that kid and give him positive reinforcement. Because there's a lot of negative things in this world that they don't need to know. So we need to give them positive reinforcement. And I also want to acknowledge the reason the United States of America is the best country in the world is because we got the best military in the world. So I thank you. This is so humbling to me because when you stand up on stage accepting an award, you know I didn't get here by myself. And so it is embarrassing for me to stand and give you a speech as I has done this. Thank you, Bob, Arnold, Fairfax, and all the distinguished guests here. It is humbling to me because I have my fiancée, Julie, who's traveled with me all over the country, and I had to have that knowledge her, my brother, and he's truly my brother, Frank and Jan, who's here with me. They've traveled all over me. But one thing you don't know about Herschel Walker, you know, I grew up in South Georgia with a speech impediment. I grew up a little bit overweight, and my mom made me feel good because she told me I was big bone. And all the kids said, you're fat. But what was strange about it, what happened in my life in the last day of school in the 8th grade, I got beat up. And he didn't just beat me up, but he woke me up. He woke me up to grab my shovel. And I grabbed that shovel and I started working out. So I'm here to tell you that if you believe it, you can achieve it, but it's not going to be easy. But as long as you put the work to it, you can do whatever you want to do. So don't let anyone tell you you can't. And don't never tell a kid he can't. And from the great doctor, Ric Flair from WWF, we're all twisted and still in sex appeal. We had a DNA of our Lord Jesus Christ, so we can do whatever we want to do. Again, I thank you. I'm honored, and it's a pleasure. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Herschel. Thank you so much. You know, we work all year, and the reason I work so hard, and Fairfax does, and our whole advisory board, is because this man right over here, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the governor, has been an inspiration to myself since I was a kid. In fact, the first time I met him, he threw me out of his movie trailer when you were doing Raw Deal in Chicago. Sven threw me out. You didn't throw me out. Arnold is truly a historical figure. And I say this every year, but there's nothing could be truer because there are very few people born on the planet who have given back and done the things, and anything that this man goes after, he wins. He is the epitome of someone who can make anything happen. It doesn't matter what it is. He sets his mind to it as a bodybuilder, as a politician, as a businessman. There is nothing that this person couldn't do. And look what he's done with the Arnold Sports Festival. It is now on 6 continents around the world, the largest sports festival in the world. What he has done is beyond remarkable, and he just continues to amaze and inspire all of us. Those of us that know him for so many years, we still want our picture taken with every time. I mean, how many people, when I travel overseas, I got 1,000 Chinese lined up to get a picture with me, and they bring you a frame with you pictured in it later. So I have all these frames. I don't know what to do with them. I just put them in the back room. But Arnold is so different than really anyone I've met in my life. I mean, it really is, it's an honor every time you're with us, and we get to do things with you. And that's the reason this takes place here. And the reason we're going to do this every year at the Arnold Sports Festival. It is the place to be because you're our hero, and we so much appreciate all the great work you're doing and the work that you continue to do. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. This is not just one person's doing to do the Arnold Classic every year. If I wouldn't have Jim Lorimer as a partner for the last 41 years, this wouldn't have happened. And if I wouldn't have had friends like Bob Goldman that have been there from day one and they've helped, and if we wouldn't have had all the volunteers here in Columbus, we're talking about thousands of volunteers, none of this would have happened. So thank you very much for having your Hall of Fame award ceremony every year here. We really appreciate having you. And what is so great is that you're really celebrating great people, people that have contributed so much to society, to the world. I mean, if you think about Lou Ferrigno, Lou Ferrigno, this man here is not only a very talented man in so many different areas. But what I love about Lou Ferrigno is that he is a workhorse. That man never has shied away from working. No matter what it is, if it is on a movie set, or if I have seen him in the gym working out, or if it is training someone else, or having his mail order business, or taking care of his family, it doesn't matter what it is, he is never shy of working. He's never been lazy, and that's what I love about him. And I always tell bodybuilders around the world, I said, don't just think about your body. Think about going beyond that and all the things that you can accomplish and all the things that you can contribute to the world. And Lou is a perfect example of that. So let's give him a big hand for the great work that he's been doing, really. And if it is Bill Kazmaier, who I have admired for many, many years, I always was dreaming about having the strength of Bill Kazmaier. But it was always just a dream. But what the hell? But it was just great to see actually someone doing it for real and also having had such an impact and inspired so many people. And Dr. Tom Rosandich, thank you very much for all the great work that you have done. You're an extraordinary human being, and you always have promoted sports and fitness around the world. And you've done it your way, which was an extraordinary way. So thank you very much for the great contributions that you have made. Thank you. And Apollo, Ohno, thank you very much for, I still remember watching you winning those medals and doing your performance. I think in bodybuilding, we wish we have this kind of grace and this kind of moves that you guys have. But we don't. But that's what makes you great in what you do. So thank you very much and for being such a great inspiration also. And Herschel Walker, what can I say about the guy that is that strong, that fit, that fast, that coordinated and everything. You are an outstanding athlete, one of the supreme athletes of all times. And so it's great to sit next to you here and to sit next to such a great, great man and such a great figure and someone that is also, again, so inspirational to so many people. And I think this is what this is all about. Sports is about, after you've gone through your trip about being the best, we have the responsibility to go now and inspire others. Because everyone that is up here, I guarantee you, and as Lou Ferrigno already said, he was inspired by picking up a magazine and seeing this great physique on the magazine. I was inspired by having Reg Park on the cover of a magazine, and I saw this magazine in a store, and I picked it up and I read through it, and I said, that's the kind of life that I want to have and be a champion and all of those things. So I think we have the responsibility to go out and inspire others. That's what it's all about, because in the end, remember, we are not going to be judged by how much we make, but by how much we give. So it's always about not me, but we. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
decade, the Pope is still the biggest franchise in the world.
Two posters and two play cards. Thanks so much, Arnold. Hey, you got to get Montana this year, okay? I want you guys to all come up. You got it.